Breaking news into the atmosphere just 3 weeks away from the NBA season beginning. We have another big blockbuster trade that likely could have huge ramifications in both the Eastern and Western conferences this season. The Washington Wizards are sending their star point guard, John Wall, and a protected first-round pick. We'll get into the protections of that pick in a second here. They're sending all that to Houston for the services of one Russell Westbrook. That is all that Houston is sending over in the deal. You know, I knew that this trade had the potential of happening. I thought it made sense for both teams. We're going to get into that in a second, but I do want to emphasize the fact that it's the Wizards, not the Rockets, sending a first-round pick with their star point guard, right? Again, a lot of people thought that John Wall at this point in his career, even though he's coming off an injury, is the better of the two players between him and Westbrook, but it is actually the Wizards who are sending a first-round pick over to Houston. Now, I don't know what that tells me. You know, there are possibilities out there. Maybe that means John Wall isn't 100% healthy right now, right? Maybe that means Russell Westbrook looks great this time. I don't know. I've saw video footage of John Wall. He looks great, but he hadn't played basketball in over a year and a half, so we will see exactly what the Rockets are getting out of John Wall. Russell Westbrook's season ended with him lingering with some injuries. Remember, he had came back in the bubble, and, you know, he battled with some injuries to get healthy for the Rockets series, against the Thunder, and then to go up against the Lakers and lose in 5 games. So, I mean, we'll see what both of these teams are getting out of the other guy. You know, for me to judge who's going to win and lose this trade, honest to God truth, since both of these guys in their games are similar, I do believe it comes down to who's healthier. If you want me to be real with you, from a trade standpoint, I think both teams won. You probably won't get this type of commentary anywhere else, but I like reading personalities. In my world, Russell Westbrook's personality fits a lot better with Bradley Beal than it does James Harden. So I think that will work for Washington. In my world, John Wall's personality fits a lot better with James Harden than it does Bradley Beal. To me, John Wall, he needs somebody that's going to be more aggressive, to be more demonstrative in their approach. And that's why James Harden, one of the best guards in our game today, he fits him. In my opinion, Russell Westbrook, he needed somebody to be a little less aggressive, a little more passive aggressive. And that's why I believe Bradley Beal will fit. I think Bradley Beal needed a guy who's going to be available for him on the court. And John Wall had not been that over the last few years, right? Well, Russell Westbrook, this guy takes pride in his body. Maybe John Wall would have been that guy. We'll never know because he's now traded. Maybe John Wall was coming back from injury and he was going to be 100% healthy. But for the Wizards, it's too important to them to please Bradley Beal, so they're not taking that risk. They're going out and getting him a guy, Russell Westbrook, who's, though he's had injuries in the past, more times than not, he does whatever it takes to get to that basketball court. He loves the game of basketball. That was a question that we started to have with John Wall. Does he love the game as much as a star point guard making $40-some million should? And you're never going to have that question mark with Russell Westbrook. So that'll work with Bradley Beal. For James Harden, I mean, he needs a guy that's talented and can take that team to the next level. To me, John Wall, at this point in their careers, his ceiling is a little higher than Russell Westbrook's. I do believe John Wall can still become a knockdown shooter at some point in the next year or two. And I expect him to fit with James Harden nicely. It's still going to come down to James Harden getting off the basketball. He's going to have to get off the ball now. You know, he's going to have to get off the basketball. We'll see what happens there. There's a misconception, and I think in our minds, we just think Russell Westbrook is so much older than John Wall. A lot of it's because John Wall ain't been in the postseason and had that much success that often, so his season ends earlier. You know, we remember him in Kentucky with Calipari for that one magical year. I feel like we think Russell Westbrook's so much older than John Wall, but he's not. There's only like a year or so apart. You know, Russ is like a year and a half older than John Wall. That's it. So, I mean, from a contract standpoint, both of these guys, they pretty much match up dollar for dollar. It's over $40 million a year for each of these guys and their services, and their contracts are both through 2022 and 2023. Excuse me. So, I mean, you look at it from that perspective, it literally comes down to who's healthier. That's pretty much who's going to win this trade. Congratulations to the Rockets and Wizards on pulling off this blockbuster trade. By the way, this is another reason why you should never trust general managers, VPs, and owners of a team when they're like, yo, yeah, we want to just come back with our team that we got. We believe in John Wall. Tommy Shepard, the general manager of the Wizards, just a week or two ago was quoted as saying, you know, we love John Wall and he's here in Washington and all that mess. According to Woj over at ESPN, who broke this story, it simply came down to the Wizards and the Rockets GMs. They got on they got together earlier today and they made this trade happen in a matter of hours. I want to read the protections on that first round pick before we get up out of here. Just for clarity, I want to be completely transparent here. According to Shams, it's a protected first round pick in 2023. If the Wizards were to fall outside of the lottery, then the Rockets would get that pick. In 2024, it's the top 12. In 2025, it's the top 10. In 2026, it's the top 8. And then after that, it becomes 2 second rounders. So essentially, what the Rockets are counting on is for the Wizards to be bad, just bad enough. Just bad enough. All right. So that is the clarity on that trade in totality. I'll let you guys know if any other news breaks today. I did not expect this to be a big news day for the NBA. I thought we would be talking about scheduling, but LeBron signing extensions, AD still not signed, and now we have 2 all-star point guards, possibly 2 Hall of Famers. Definitely Russell Westbrook could be first ballot, but maybe John Wall as well. Both on the move. Whew. Man, we'll talk about this trade more in the upcoming days on how this affects each other's rosters, all that great stuff. I'll tell you this, the Rockets are going to put out there a very formidable team. You got John Wall, James Harden, and your backcourt, Daniel House, and they went out and signed Christian Woods from Detroit. He's a really good player. And then you got Boogie down low. If he can come in ready to work and his body holds up, all right, that team is going to that team is going to lead the league in technical fouls, the Rockets. With Wall or Westbrook, they were going to lead the league in technical fouls. And I will say this, that Rockets team, if John Wall is healthy, that's still a top 4 seed out west, maybe even better than that. They might win more regular season games than people will expect. All right, that team's got a lot of talent. It's just about them listening to their first-year head coach, Steven Silas. All right, if they trust and believe in him, if he knows what he's doing, and they trust and believe in him, all right, that's not a team I would want to play. That is not a team I want to play. That's a different team than last year, all right? They got centers now, all right? They got centers and talent that makes more sense, and personalities that make more sense. The jury's still out on the Wizards. They're young. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, though, alone will get you to the playoffs. That's probably a top 6 seed out east on just those 2 guys alone. We'll see how it goes, though. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. Please let me know what you think about this blockbuster trade in the comment box. I'm out.